Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's The Con Guy.
Happy May the 4th. Happy May the 4th. This is Happy Star Wars Day, everybody. Welcome to The Con Guy Show, your home for insider news and opinions from the world of Comic-Cons, pop culture, and everything that we love. Today, we have a very, very special show. We have two other people that were in Rise of Skywalker, which drops today on Disney Plus. So we're very excited to have them. Who do we have in the booth with us today? And around the hosting booth, I should say.
Hosting booth. Let's go with Katie.
I was gonna say, okay, so I'll go first. All right, I'm Katie, aka the Con Girl, here for an awesome Star Wars show. So yeah, excited.
Ben.
Hey everybody, my name is Ben Kliewer, regular here on the Con Guy, and excited to get our Star Wars show off today. I might have a few Star Wars related items here in my office.
Luke.
And I'm Cheeseman on the couch here, Director of Media with theconguy.com.
And Ryan in the booth.
New title.
Ryan in the booth. Happy Star Wars Day. Rilo Ren for today. May the 4th be with you. Rocking the Baby Yoda sweatshirt. The Clone Wars finale was last night. What an exciting episode of the Con Guy we have today with our special guests.
Oh, super excited. And we have such special guests today. Ben, can you introduce them for us?
I would be more than happy to. Today we have Anton Simpson-Tidy. He's a stunt actor known for his work in Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, where he played the fearsome Ven Vickrell of the Knights of Ren. He was also in Into the Badlands and Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, in addition to the upcoming F9, the ninth film in the hugely popular Fast and Furious film franchise. And joining him is Katie McDonnell, who is also a stunt performer known for her work in Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, and a stunt where she was a stunt double for Daisy Ridley.
Woo!
And the upcoming Wonder Woman 1984, which I'm super stoked about, as well as Resident Evil, the final chapter. Welcome to both of you to the show today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, guys. And they're coming to us from, where are you guys at right now?
We are in Sheffield in the UK, England.
So it's nighttime there, so they're coming to the end of their Star Wars Day, and we are just kind of getting started here. So happy May the 4th. May the 4th be with you guys. Thank you so much for joining us to celebrate the grand celebration of Star Wars fandom around the world. This is really an honor for us. We just have to ask, what's it like being a part of the Star Wars universe, especially on a day like this when the entire world's coming together to celebrate?
Pretty incredible. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely the biggest movie I've ever worked on, and it's just really cool to say that we were a part of something that's so huge and means so much to so many people.
Yeah.
Do you guys have fans bugging you all the time, like us?
Well, you've got a big following on.
Yeah, but you actually played a character in the movie, whereas I'm just a stunt double.
There's nothing just about being a stunt double, I'll tell you that.
No, especially...
You were only in the trailer.
Yeah. I was about to say, Katie, listen, you were in the trailer that brought all of us grown men to tears. When I was at Star Wars Celebration in Chicago when they debuted the trailer, and we're all sitting in a room with 6,000 people, and we see Rey outrunning the TIE fighter. That was you when you jumped up in the air and did the backflip and all that, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was me. It's very cool to watch a lot of the reaction videos and seeing people go so crazy for that, because obviously when you're filming it, you're in the moment and you don't really think about the fact that there's going to be so many people around the world watching this. And when you see those reaction videos, it's like, oh wow, that was kind of a big deal.
Which was cool. And Anton, we watched the movie again it just dropped on Disney Plus, so we watched it last night, very late. And you have quite a bit of screen time in the movie, more than I remember, a lot of fight sequences and everything. That must have been very, very cool being part of that production. Was it not?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, very good. I mean, I was a major fan when I was growing up. I even had the ponytail like Obi-Wan because I wanted to be like him.
Little twat.
Yeah. So
the Obi-Wan ponytail.
So to be in the Star Wars film is a big deal, and it was a big aim when I was training to be a stunt performer and train for the register. That was like the aim. I wanted to be registered before the last Star Wars, so to actually become like a character. Yeah.
You made it.
Awesome.
You did it.
You did it.
Well, happy Star Wars Day, guys. We have a little bit of Star Wars news we're going to go over, but then we're going to come back and talk with Anton and Katie for the last half of the show. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us today. This is very exciting. And feel free to chime in anytime you hear anything that sounds interesting. All right. So, Ben, you have a little bit of news for us today.
Yeah, we're going to do the geekiest 3 minutes of news of the week. This week, of course, the geekiest 3 minutes of Star Wars news.
I'll count you in, Ben.
All right, sounds good.
Ben Kenobi. Alrighty, we're going in.
You must go to the Dagobah system.
2, 1, go.
What started as a fan-generated grassroots holiday, Star Wars Day, has become a full-fledged celebration of the Star Wars saga, embraced by the entire galaxy. This year, fans can look forward to the highly anticipated conclusion of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, alongside the global premiere of the new 8-episode documentary series Disney Gallery: The Mandalorian. To celebrate May the 4th, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker lands on Disney Plus today, so fans can now watch the entire 9-episode saga in one place, in addition to Rogue One. And you forgot to include Solo: A Star Wars Story in there, which...
Is it on Disney Plus today?
Oh, is it not on Disney Plus? I don't know.
I don't think it.
I believe it is. I believe everything is there today.
All right.
Also today, Disney Gallery: The Mandalorian debuts on Disney Plus, an 8-episode documentary series that pulls back the curtain on The Mandalorian. Each chapter explores a different facet of the live-action Star Wars television show through interviews, behind-the-scenes footage, and roundtable conversations hosted by Jon Favreau. And just watch it for the LED background setups alone, like the live-action LED backgrounds they use to film it. Incredible. Today also sees the series finale, the fan favorite, The Clone Wars, which will introduce the darkest era of Star Wars. The Empire will rise and the Emperor will be at the height of his power. But there will also be hope in the conclusion of Ahsoka Tano's prequel era story. And finally, in our bit of news, it was announced today that Thor Ragnarok director Taika Waititi, probably one of my favorite people on the face of the planet. I've never met the guy, but still. Who won an Oscar last year for adapting Jojo Rabbit and who directed the season finale of The Mandalorian, will be directing a new Star Wars film to be released theatrically. And if you've never seen What We Do in the Shadows, watch the film first, then watch the TV series. Taika Waititi and what's his name from Flight of the Conchords? Jermaine Clement, yes. Very excellent. And in our last bit of news, ladies and gentlemen, today is my first wedding anniversary. That's right. I married my wife 1 year ago today, May the 4th, 2019. And I'm glad we didn't get married this year.
Oh, yeah.
We were also supposed to be on our honeymoon right now, which had to be canceled for the second time because we were supposed to go on it in November, and then I booked a movie, and so we postponed it to May.
Sorry to hear that.
Now the Earth is closed. So,
but at least you're doing a Star Wars podcast, so
that's true.
Yeah,
that's a close second.
And what's so cool about Ben's wedding? Some of us were there. Their first dance. Ben, can you describe your first dance at your wedding?
Well, we had a medley of different music that means a lot to us as a couple, and so it started off with just kind of a standard choreographed dance to Ben Folds the Luckiest before breaking into John Williams' Duel of the Fates from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And our maid of honor and best man handed us lightsabers, and we dueled lightsabers in the middle of our of our first dance. So that was pretty fun.
That was pretty amazing. And speaking of May the 4th May the 4th anniversaries, Derek, who is also one of our co-hosts on the show, he could not be with us today. 7 years ago, he and his wife had their very first date on May the 4th. Today, they are going to pick up their brand new foster child, which they may be adopting. They're on their way to the hospital right now.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
So
in baby news,
we're
like E! Entertainment.
As Derek would like to say, they're going to pick up their own baby Yoda this second. So,
oh my gosh!
I didn't know that. Oh my gosh!
They're gonna name it the child, the boy, the child.
That is special. That's really special.
Yeah.
So congratulations to them. What a great May the 4th celebration. So many celebrations on May the 4th, which I love. So we do have a little bit of convention news or an update that Katie, if you could go over that with us, please.
Yeah, so in Star Wars, there is the convention that, of course, a lot of people, including Ryan, are anxious to hear about any updates on, which is Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim. The Star Wars Celebration team revealed that the event is still on schedule for later this summer, August 27th through the 30th in Anaheim at the Convention Center. The organizer released a statement that said, "At Star Wars Celebration, the health and safety of our fans, attendees, exhibitors, guests, and staff is our #1 priority. Given global developments, we want to share some of the steps Star Wars Celebration is taking to actively and continuously monitor the situation. We are in the contact with the City of Anaheim, the Anaheim Visitors Bureau, the Anaheim Convention Center. We are committed to ensuring that our event plans meet or exceed the latest public health guidance, including that about local and state authorities, as well as the U.S. CDC. Additional announcements about the status of the event will be made in the upcoming weeks as we review the most up-to-date guidance from state and local health authorities." So, of course, kind of like what everybody else has been saying, but they're keeping an eye on it. And then, however, ReedPop, the organization behind New York Comic-Con and Star Wars Celebration, have put together an online virtual Star Wars convention that runs May the 4th through 5th, so today and tomorrow. It features live tweeting, movies, and episodes of both Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, as well as Q&A sessions and discussions with writers and voice actors associated with the franchise. That's cool. Trivia and quizzes will also be available, and Star Wars fans will be able to earn prizes. Ooh, we all love prizes, don't we, right? All right. The event will take place across many social media accounts of ReedPop, including New York Comic-Con, C2E2, BookCon, Emerald City Comic-Con, and Florida SuperCon on both Twitter and Facebook.
That's pretty exciting. I'll be honest with you. We're unsure. We're unsure about if Star Wars Celebration will actually occur. My bet is that I don't think it will. What do you think, Ryan?
I don't think it's happening. And interestingly enough, there's a great panel you guys can check out from WonderCon that I think is going to be released in the upcoming days or weeks that the con guy actually put on, where we had a bunch of people talk about like doing your own creative work with a full-time schedule. But they actually shed some light on just the convention situation with this year. You guys probably know way more than I do, but what I took away from that was, just due to the liabilities at stake and insurance policies, the reason they don't announce these cancellations sooner is due to, it's an insurance reason. It's the act of God clause. So every insurance policy for these conventions have an act of God clause, whereas a government official comes to you and says, you cannot put this on. Not only do they get to reimburse everyone's money, but they also get a reimbursement, as opposed to canceling it early, in which case they might be open for someone who had a panel, had a desk, a booth. They could maybe sue them for that and for just the random notice. So that's why they probably haven't done it quite yet.
Right. It's absolutely, they have to wait until that occurs. So Anton and Katie, I have to ask you, have you guys been to Star Wars Celebration?
No.
We have not, no.
Oh, really? Would you guys, I mean, probably not this year, but is it something that you might look forward to going to?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully you get invited.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
I hope you would.
Right.
I know.
It would be great if you could get them to pay for your hotel room and your travel.
Well, so we're going to move into like our panel session where we are going to be talking with Anton and Katie about all their experiences with Star Wars and some of the other stuff that they have. But I just want to start out, if you guys can talk to us a little bit about how long were each of you on set? Well, first of all, how did you find out you were in the Star Wars film, and how exciting was that first?
Okay.
You go first.
So I auditioned just as a generic like stunt performer, thinking it was just going to be like general stormtrooper background work. Then when I got to the audition, I found out that they were looking for around six skilled martial arty type stunt performers. So then I thought it was going to be the Knights of Ren. Then about 2 weeks later, I got a call to say that like I got the role, I got a job, but it still didn't tell me what it was. They just said I'd have my own like action figure.
That's awesome.
Everyone's dream.
Yeah. So I kind of put two and two together and realized it was Knight of Ren. But yeah, I didn't find out officially until like my first day on set, really.
Wow.
But we was both on it before we started filming, so
Yeah, we have like a lot of rehearsal time before we start shooting.
yeah. So during rehearsals, that's when I found out. But yeah, I didn't find out like as soon as. Yeah.
And what about you, Katie?
I was actually working on Wonder Woman 1984 at the time, which I can't say anything about what I was doing on there because obviously that's not even out yet. But I got a call from the booker on Star Wars who I'd worked with before in Assassin's Creed, and she just said, "Casey, what are you doing from?" I can't even remember what day it was, but like it was like 9 months out of my diary booked out. Like, what are you doing across this time? And I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know, but this sounds like something quite big. And yeah, then I got asked to come in and do an audition one day for the stunt coordinator. So I came in, had to do a few like fight reactions, some wire work. What else did I have to do? Some sprints and things like that, just to sort of show her how I move and that kind of thing. She'd obviously already seen quite a few videos of me doing my parkour and free running stuff. And that was it. And then I got told I'd got the job, and I literally went from finishing Wonder Woman on a Wednesday to starting Star Wars on the Thursday. So
Wow.
no breaks for me.
Can you describe how long you guys were on set? What was production like?
I don't know, when did it start? Like April?
I can't even remember when I think it was later than that actually that we started filming.
I think they started prepping in maybe around May. I was in and out until we went to Jordan, which was around October, and then from October till February I was
You're on it full time
there all the time. But yeah, it's pretty much from May.
I think it was a little bit later than that. I can't remember for sure exactly, but we were on it for quite a few months.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah. But
then when was you?
Yeah, I started, well, I was on it full time from when I first started, because obviously if you're doubling a lead, they kind of need you there at all times. So I was there right from the very beginning of filming to the last day on set, and a little bit before that with rehearsals as well. So
yeah,
I was there all day, every day.
Yeah, we didn't film the Night of Ren fight until
I was right at the end.
It was literally probably the last 3 days of filming. So but like before that, I was doing like, I don't know, I'd get thrown in to do stormtrooper stuff, or what do they call the Elasmics? The guys at the beginning on Mustafa. Fighting. I was like one of those.
Oh, so you were there for when they were shooting Mustafar footage?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, so I was in the Mustafa bit, and then I was.
You've got Knights of Ren in lots of scenes where they're not Knights of Ren.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had this. There's this photo online of I'm gonna put it up real quick for you guys, but it's of JJ kind of directing it. It looks like it's one of the scenes in Jordan. I was just curious, like how hot must it have been being in that costume in like the desert?
Super hot. Yeah. To be honest, the other costumes are probably worse. Out of all the costumes, that's probably the better one to be in.
Except for Ray. Ray's costume was.
Oh yeah, Ray's costume was pretty nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had like ice. What do you call them? Ice vests.
Yeah.
Basically like a t-shirt underneath which pumps cool water around. Mm-hmm. But it only really worked when you plugged it in for 10 minutes, and we only had like 2 between 6 of us, so we had to keep swapping this like bucket of ice.
Like a tank thing.
Yeah, like a tank between all 3 of us. But yeah, it was very hot.
Wow.
Cool. So hey, our host Derek, who's on the way to the hospital right now, he had some questions. Hey Luke, would you mind taking Derek's questions there that he was going to ask?
Sure, let me take a look.
And while you look at those, go ahead, Ryan.
I was gonna say if you need a second, I have one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go for
a second. Okay,
while
so after the movie came out, the whole rage was the Ben Solo challenge when he like takes the lightsaber from behind. So were you like in that scene? You were present for that? Was
That's
everyone
all.
kind of freaking out on set, like, oh my god, they're gonna teleport a lightsaber, or did you kind of have no idea what was going on?
Sorry, I didn't get that. Could you say that
I said,
again?
like, were people kind of excited on set about the idea of like the whole lightsaber kind of being teleported, or was that kind of unclear when you were filming it?
Yeah, I don't think anybody really knew when we was filming it.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew that he was getting the saber passed to him.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, nobody really knew. But all that was kind of just. I think he only did that on one take, where he does the.
He does the bow, right? He does like the.
Yeah,
Oh
that
my
he
gosh.
only did that on like one take, and we did quite a few. So, yeah, that's the one that they went with.
Holy cow! It was one take.
Speaking of
That's
that
super-
scene, how long did it take to train for that? To get the choreography down for that scene. It was such a big scene in the movie. I'm sure it took some time.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd say from Jordan, from probably like October till February, was rehearsing. But this fight, I mean, this fight was huge at the beginning, and then it got changed so many times. So it wasn't necessarily that we needed to train for that one specific fight. It was just that it kept changing. Like it started off really big, and then got smaller and smaller. Yeah, but I'd say probably October till February was like really, really training it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it was a great scene.
Well, Derek had a question about those fighting styles. Luke, do you see that one there? I can jump on that one. Like Derek, he's not here, but he was one interested in like the fighting styles. Anton, what kind of fighting styles or martial arts training did you have heading into this? And did they use any of what you learned, or what was like did you have any like input into the types of movements that would be occurring?
So our fight coordinator was Mike Lambert, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like an amazing fight coordinator. He's like worked with the best, and he's
Top dog.
super creative. So he basically kind of put it all together, and or he'd have like the skeleton of where everyone kind of needs to be and who's jumping in and at what time. And there was a bit where you don't see it because of how the camera angle is, but Tom Rogers, one of the other knights, he swipes for Kylo, and then Kylo kind of like does this like duck. So Tom's weapon goes over that, and then as it's coming round, I slide under his weapon, ping it back, and then come for another attack. But because of the camera, you don't really see it.
But Mikey definitely played to all of your strengths, like that your styles of fighting. He would
yes.
that.
So we've all got kind of different styles, and we all have different weapons. So like myself and Ashley Beck were both from the sport martial arts background, and Ash had like a kind of like a long baton kind of thing. And because he's good with bow staff, he kind of used it like a bow staff. I usually use swords, but I had like this scythe, so kind of used it in between a sword and a staff. And then Tom had like this giant, he calls it a butter knife, like a cloud buster from Final Fantasy. But yeah, Mike definitely played it to our strengths. But yeah, like I was saying, so he like create the routine and skeleton, and then he'd be like, right, Anton, I need you in at this point. And it might just be like a turn and swipe. But then he'd be like, is there anything that you can do to like give it some style? So I might just give it like a flower and swipe. So it's kind of like that, where he came up with it and we just kind of added a little bit of our style or techniques to it. Yeah.
Nice. And I think I accidentally stole some questions from Katie Kawamoto. So Katie, if you want to go ahead and jump in there.
All right. Well, my question kind of plays on just being a stunt performer in general. And if you don't feel comfortable answering, that's fine. Just let me know. But I know stunts are so important in some of these huge blockbusters, from Marvel to Star Wars, just in everything. So do you both feel that stunts, and specifically stunt coordinators, should be included in an Oscar category?
Hell yeah.
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 I think we've both got a friend. He's called Ace, and he's like a creature performer and actor. But on the last movie that we was in, he kind of jumped on the stunt team as like one of the stunt creatures, and then he kept constantly saying like he didn't realize how much stunts were involved and how much of an impact they actually have. Because I mean, even down to like character development and how a certain character might not necessarily just fight, but move. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, you kept saying that, but
especially like a stunt coordinator, they have so much input into scenes and fights and everything. So I think it's kind of crazy that especially stunt coordinators aren't recognized.
Yeah, I mean, it's even like you look at like a lot of the new big movies like the Extraction and Deadpool, John Wick, where we're getting a lot of big stunt coordinators going to directing and doing a great job at it.
The reason they do a great job is because they're sort of halfway there in their job anyway.
Yeah, you've got to think that like a script, when a stunt coordinator gets a script, it might only say, it might be dialogue, and a fight breaks out. And if you look at like a film like Marvel and how many fights are in a film like that, and that's all down to the stunt department, stunt coordinator or fight choreographer that have got to create this massive action sequence, which takes up majority of a film if you're looking at like Star Wars or Marvel. And then they're not really getting any recognition for it. So yeah.
I agree. I have a lot of friends who are stunt performers because I used to work at Universal Studios. So I always like see that they're not getting represented at the Oscars, and I just feel for them. So that's why I wanted to actually hear it from you folks. So thanks for answering the question. And then this is for Anton, just to tell us a little bit. I mean, most people who are watching the show probably know about your character, but tell us a little about your character and what did you get told about your character when you were prepping for it?
Again, going back to stunts, not a lot, as in how they move, or that was kind of left to us as like stunt performers, and Mike Lambert, the fight choreographer. Yeah, I mean, because we don't talk and we've got helmets, there's not a lot of like physical acting. It's more how we move, and that was pretty much left to us and character development. I mean, JJ would give some, say we walk like the shot. There were a lot of shots of walking through the desert that aren't on the that aren't in there, but he'd come in and just like say we need to look more menacing or that. But going to fight, that was kind of left to us, like how we use the weapons and how we stood. So yeah, the fight coordinator and fight and the main stunt coordinator, they all pretty much sorted that.
Nice. And I think you already kind of answered the question because it was saying, were you in the final showdown with Kylo Ren, which I believe you already said you were. So I'm going to ask a different question. I am a costume designer, so I'm always curious about costumes. How much harder is it to fight with the costumes they give you versus when you're practicing and you're not in the costumes?
A lot harder, especially with the the helmet and the slit, which wasn't very wide. I think we all had two helmets, where we'd have one which was the fire helmet, so it'd be a bit wider, and then one which was just the everyday wear, generic one.
Yeah, everyday wear.
But yeah, there was a lot of liaising with the like costume department. But overall, I mean, the costume, like the trousers and everything, they were pretty flexible, pretty stretchy.
Nice.
It was just the helmet, really. Yeah.
Nice, awesome. Thank you so much for answering that. I'm always my curiosity. I'm seeing these insane stunt numbers, and I'm sure we're gonna see them in Wonder Woman, where you're like, how are they fighting in that? Like, I could barely walk in that, let alone fight in that. So I'm just always curious.
Also, we did train. Well, I mean, we trained just in the helmets.
Yeah.
Before the fight was coming up, we had some sessions like just in the helmets to get used to it.
And I would also say that quite often when you're a stunt performer, you'll have your hero costume for when you're doing stunts that maybe aren't so physical and you don't need to move so much. And then you have your stunt costume, which usually is a little bit stretchier or maybe a bit bigger, so you can get pads underneath or things like that. So normally you have more than one costume.
There's a lot of holes in it.
Yeah, pretty battered the stunt one.
All right.
Yeah.
I think, okay. Hey, Ben, I think you've got some questions.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, Katie, it's probably your wardrobe was probably a little bit easier to move in than Anton's.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think actually out of maybe all of the costumes I've had on movies, I think Ray's was really very easy to move in. Obviously, she had like the sort of hanging down bits, which sometimes were annoying and might like wrap up in a wire or might get in the way a little bit. But I really can't complain about the costume. For me, it was a great costume to move in.
Right. Anton, you've been in a couple of Fast and Furious franchise films. Can you just briefly kind of tell us a little bit about what that was like?
So I was in Hobbs and Shaw. That was just generic fighting. I was on Idris Elba's team, one of these biker dudes.
Mm-hmm.
You see me in, I'm in the trailer, and what was it?
Like going out the window, that bit where you chuck them out the window.
Yeah, I think it's in London, in like the Shard or something. We're coming and we're firing, and then Hobbs and Shaw just take us out pretty easy. For Fast 9, I was only on the fight team for like the rehearsals, so like coming up with the fights. Didn't end up shooting because we went on to another movie. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one coming out.
I am also a huge James Bond fan. And I believe you were in No Time to Die. You worked on that film as well. Is that correct? Or is that something you can talk about?
Just a little bit. I mean,
he's the new James Bond.
Just a little bit. Yeah, we've got a friend that was one of the main stunt doubles, that was Maria.
Yeah, one of my best friends, Marie, she was doubling one of the lead women in that in No Time to Die. So
yeah,
that's probably our best link to it, really.
can't really say anything.
That's fair. Right. Perfectly fair. And finally, for both of you, do you have projects coming up that you'd like to promote or kind of get word out there? Like, hey, I've got this coming up. I know the industry is a little down right now, and so work is kind of stopped on a lot of stuff. But to tack on to that, do either of you or both of you do on-camera acting as opposed to stunting for other performers or doing, kind of the faceless man or faceless woman stunts? And what can you tell us about that if you do that?
We've got anything coming up. We've just finished on.
Don't say it. It's a secret.
Yeah, we just finished the movie.
Sweet. Oh! That's all I need.
Let's say it's Marvel.
We worked on a Marvel movie that we just wrapped on in February, just before the world went crazy.
Yeah.
Right. And was that strictly stunts, or are you like kind of a face?
Yeah, no, we were doubling. We were doubling two of the main characters in that.
Yeah, I had some featured.
Oh, you did actually. Anton's featured again. You always get the featured role.
More truth serum, please.
I think we know what. I think we know what movie you guys are talking about. We can search IMDb.
What do you think it is, Jim?
Does it rhyme with Preternals?
Don't get anybody in trouble.
Don't get people in trouble, guys.
We don't want to get you guys in trouble. Yeah.
Which I guess going into the other question, I don't really do acting as such. It's usually like the featured roles, like through stunt. Yeah, so stunt acting. So it might be where they need someone to say a line or to be more featured, but then has to fight or.
But they better hope that line is in a Yorkshire accent. Because that's the only accent we can do.
Yeah. Well, I'll be dubbed in this next one.
Yeah, they're gonna dub him.
All right, we are up on our last 5 minutes. I think.
I got a couple of Star Wars questions. Okay. What was it like working with J.J. Abrams or the other cast around you, or the cast that you're stunning with? Like Daisy Ridley. And this is for both of you.
Yeah, JJ is awesome.
I
haven't got a bad word to say about him. He is just such a good director. And when things get a little bit stressful at times, he's not a director who starts to shout and blame other people for things. He's just the nicest guy. And he really takes the time to get to know everyone's names on set as well, which I really like. And he'll just chat to you like you're a normal human, because you are. And yeah, such a nice guy. And Daisy was great as well. Like, obviously I had to work quite closely with Daisy, because a lot of the time actors will do their own stunts, and what you end up seeing on screen is sort of a collaboration of the actor's version and the stunt performer's version. So you'll collaborate a lot with the actor. So I spent a lot of time with her, and she's great. She did all her fight stuff herself in episode 9. She's wicked, super talented in stunts. Obviously she's a talented actress, but she's also good at stunts.
Yeah. I spent more time with Adam. I just rehearsing the fights, and yeah.
He likes to stay in character.
Yeah.
Does he really?
Yeah, definitely likes to stay in character.
What else, Luke?
How long did it take you to do that scene that was in the trailer with the flip and everything when you took down Kylo? Can you tell us a little more about working on that scene?
Yeah, I mean, I think I can. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for saying any of this, but basically that day was, we shot that right at the end of the day, which was a really long day for me of doing sprints on sand for another thing. I actually thought that I was wrapped for the day. I was sort of wandering back to my trailer to get de-rigged, and I thought I was done. And then suddenly I heard, "Oh, Katie, JJ wants to shoot the TIE fighter flip now." And I'm like, what? I'm so exhausted right now. I just and they were like, and no pressure or anything, but the sun's going down, so we only have about 15 minutes, so we need to get it in the first few takes. And I was like, oh my goodness. And also the last time we'd rehearsed it was back in the UK. Oh, actually, had I done a rehearsal out in Jordan? I don't know, but I hadn't rehearsed it for a long time. And it was just one of those things where I was like, wow, this is suddenly a lot of pressure, and it's right at the end of the day. But, you know, JJ being JJ, it wasn't like he was stressed out about it. He was just like, hey, Katie. I'm not going to try and do his accent, actually. But he was just like, yeah, you know, we'd love to get this shot before the sun goes down. So, you know, he's just like calm about it. And yeah, we managed to get it. It took about 15 minutes. I think we did maybe 3 or 4.
Wow.
Such an iconic scene for that kind of time. Now, were you surprised when you saw that it was so featured in the trailer as such a big kind of moment, and they kind of like really focused on that scene? Did you know that was coming?
I didn't know it was going to be in the teaser at all. But I did know that JJ loved the scene. I mean, at the time when we shot that, it was probably like my best moment on Star Wars, to be honest, because everyone was just like on a bit of a high afterwards. You know, Daisy was like screaming. She was like loving it. Daisy came up to me after and she was like, oh my God, it was amazing. And I was like, oh, great, thanks. And, you know, JJ was super happy about it. And I don't know, I knew he liked that shot. So I thought it might maybe be in a trailer at some point somewhere. Like, you know, they put a lot of different trailers out. So I thought maybe we'll get a glimpse of it, or maybe it will be safe for the movie. But I definitely wasn't expecting it to be such a big build up to it in the teaser. That's cool.
And that scene made people really excited about the film. So thank you for that stunt.
It made me cry. It really did when I saw that trailer. It was so epic. Hey guys, we're down to like our last 60 seconds on the podcast. Is there any of our hosts, do you have any last questions for Anton and Katie before we say goodbye to them?
Well, we got 1,000 questions.
Yeah, I know.
Just something to wrap it up here.
If no one wants to go, I'll throw one out there.
All right.
Obviously, there's so many moments in Rise of Skywalker that just blew everyone's minds. A lot of them having to do with a lot of incredible stunts. I mean, we brought up the flip with the TIE fighter, and of course that ending scene with the Ben Solo challenge. I was just curious for Anton, as like a Knight of Ren, you're talking about how JJ more talked about the movements. Were there any specific adjectives or specific like verbs that he would pair with being a Knight of Ren, like what some of the movements would be, or just like words that he would assimilate with being a Knight of
Ren? Cool and menacing, probably.
Menacing. Be more menacing.
Yeah, menacing. Yeah, like badass and yeah, cool, I guess.
Hey guys, as we wrap up, what last question? favorite part about being in the production of The Rise of Skywalker? What's your favorite part?
You want us to pick one, and you're like, quick.
3 lightsabers.
I think anything that we shot out in Jordan is just like out there. I mean, Jordan, where we were shooting in Jordan and Wadi Rum, it just really feels like you're
very
really
surreal.
there.
Yeah,
You feel like you're on a different planet.
crazy. But I don't like holding the lightsabers and the weapons and
True.
yeah.
There you go.
There we go. Thank you. Guys, thank you so much. This has been such an honor for you guys to be on the show with us. And you have an open invitation to come back, Anton, when whatever the secret movie you guys are talking about. I think we know what it is. We would love to have you guys back and also to talk about Wonder Woman. But today is May the 4th, and we just all want to say Happy Star Wars Day. Thank you guys for being with us. Where can we find you online, Katie Kawamoto?
Hi, everyone. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at KT_Christine, or on the Batwoman or Riverdale after shows on AfterBuzz TV, on AfterBuzz Network.
And Ben.
Hey, everybody. I'm Ben Kliewer. You can find me on all social media at BenKliewer. I'm going to change up my catchphrase today. People always ask me, hey, Ben, why are you drinking out of that Star Wars mug? Because whenever Ben Kliewer shows up, every day is Star Wars Day.
All right,
So it's
Cheeseman.
coffee.
Cheeseman.
Be with me. Be with me. And I'm Cheeseman on the couch here with theconguy.com, and you can find me on Twitter at CheeseOnCouch. Happy Star Wars Day, people. May the Force be with you always. May the Force be with you.
My name is Jim Frye. You can find me on Twitter at JimFryLA. You can find me on Instagram at James D. Frye. You can find us all here at the Con Guys Show. Thank you guys so much. You want to repeat where we can find you guys online if people want to follow what you guys are up to? Anton and Katie.
Us?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just at Katie McDonnell on pretty much all social media.
Yeah, and at Anton Simpson-Tidy, and it's just Instagram.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, may the 4th be with you. Happy Star Wars Day. Thank you for joining us today.
Happy
Thanks
Star
for
Wars
having
Day.
us.
Thank you.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.